Look at
Everybody.
that.
Oh dear. All right, everyone, welcome to the first ever episode, so to speak, of the Chronicles, and search continues. That name is directly derived from a college radio show that I had with a dear friend and friend of the program, Dennis Madden. Where did you get that?
Who's not me?
That's right. No, forgive me. If only I could introduce you from the wings, I don't know of a way to do that. Yeah, I am joined today by my dear friend, college roommate, and high school friend as well. Basically, a lifetime of memories with this cat. I am joined by one Steve Murillo, who is joining us on episode 1. Steve, how's it going today, man?
What's up? All right, did you notice me laughing like 3 seconds ago?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know why?
No.
Okay. I don't know if it was in like the middle of you talking, but like you froze.
Oh, really?
And I thought that like the whole thing like froze like for like 20 seconds.
Oh, dear.
I was like, okay, this is really.
Oh man, the sound quality we're gonna have to be contending with it a little bit. You all right?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. All three of you, I'm sure you're on the internet. Bottom line, I was looking to start I don't want to call it a podcast, but I've always felt for a very long time that kind of an avenue to kind of tell stories and just kind of share experiences and some really kind of loose, informal kind of interviews with some people I care about. It'd be a cool little pursuit to have, and this has afforded me, I don't want to say the time, but certainly the urgency to kind of make that happen. And I'm very honored to get this project started, and even more honored to have Steve here joining me on the inaugural journey down memory lane and into the future. So with this in mind, I'd love to get started. Big Steve, part of the reason I wanted to have you on the program, in addition to just the wealth of memories we've shared in high school, college, and beyond. Very recently, you took to Instagram and Facebook to showcase some of your music in a live stream to kind of help get people through this time. And nobody needs to hear about what time it is. We all know what's going on. But one, I thought it was a phenomenal show and a great gesture. I know that I've really gotten a lot out of people sharing things in this way. And
thank you.
Number two, I know a lot of the catalog that you played came from your band, Someone in a Tree, which is composed of a lot of our friends from your college. And basically, I wanted to kind of open up things there, talking about kind of your thoughts on that show, the context and scope of what it means, and also kind of tell us a little bit about some of what Someone in a Tree is all about. And a little later on, we'll get through kind of the timeline of the band. My understanding, I know when you got together in college, I know that they helped you out with some music projects. And basically what I want to know is, was the goal always to kind of take the pursuit to the real world out of college, or was it just kind of happenstance that you all stayed local enough and liked working together enough that you wanted to try and make something work kind of after the fact?
I think to a degree with all of us, it was something we could continue doing to some capacity, but being at that point in our lives, not exactly knowing what that was going to look like.
Cool.
And then years we were all sort of just available to roll with it again. And so we've just kind of been building that momentum ever since. And now, we're making our second album right now, and we're incredibly excited about it. And yeah.
Follow up to Daily Distortions, a tremendous first album that I know I enjoyed quite a bit. Super quick, where can people find this music if they want to kind of dip their ears into it?
Right. So we're Someone in a Tree. You can find us on Apple Music and Bandcamp, SoundCloud, and YouTube, Amazon. We're basically most online markets. And it's our first album called Daily Singles. Last year, one cover of Saria's song, or The Lost Woods from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Nintendo not 64. Talking to the right guy on that, but so full disclosure and confession, Steve and I actually went to do this last night. What I'll call a technical difficulty where I didn't.
No. Here's the thing: we didn't go to do it; we did it.
Yeah, we did it, man. We had the whole damn thing. I was wearing this nice host jacket, you know. It was a nice little pleasant surprise, you know. Try to get about as formal as I get about the deal. And
I'm laughing because you froze again while you were like mid laugh. So I was just for like 15 seconds. I was just looking at you like.
Yeah, no doubt. Kind of looks like every time I sing a song too. There's some bizarre faces there. But anyway, Steve and I had this lovely talk, and it turns out that I didn't know that I had to hit a separate record button to save these things, and so I basically called Steve distraught immediately afterwards and said, like, yeah, man, I kind of botched it a little bit. You willing to do this again tomorrow? And Steve, rolling with the punches. Was happy to.
I was able to put everything on hold, and I was like, all right, you're kind of killing me here, but I just do it and do.
Yeah, it's you, man. Boy, oh boy.
I still haven't eaten today, so.
Yeah. My goodness.
No, that's because I was getting ready for this. So.
Well, you can do it next time I freeze for a little while, you know. You can just run off, grab a quick banana. Oh boy. Well, excellent. So I run off and grab quick bananas all the time, man. I'm just saying. That's my good. It's a very good. So, tremendous. Coming off the heels of Daily Distortions, it was great to hear you kind of singing in your own element. You know,
thank you.
Context of the times aside, it was really kind of a cool experience for me. And one of the things that I thought was very kind is you took some time to play a Weezer song, which is probably the only Weezer song.
Big surprise.
Well, for me, it's probably the only Weezer song with any meaning for me. And it's a song called The Good Life, which I believe is off the Pinkerton album. Mm-hmm. And Steve and I are kind of interesting because Steve is more of a musician than I, especially because he has so many goals. My goal, I play one solo show a year. I raise funds for something I believe in. I said, thank you all for coming out, and I'll see you in 360.
You're a beautiful musician.
Hey, well, thank you, man. No doubt. The beard is suiting me. Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. That's very kind. But no.
In the mail.
No, but Steve's talents are certainly exceptional and above and beyond. But what's kind of always been interesting about Steve and myself, I can't speak for him now, but certainly for a time. For as much as we were both musicians, and for as much as we both had, you know, certainly discerning ears and our own measure of talent and what we appreciated, and a lot of overlapping interests, quite frankly. There was a time in his life, I don't know about now, where Weezer was Steve's favorite band. And my favorite band, and to an extent they still are, but at this point it's more kind of sentimental than anything else, but I still love it. My favorite band was Dave Matthews Band. And it's kind of interesting that I don't really care for Weezer at all, and Steve doesn't really care for Dave Matthews at all. So we have kind of this musical relationship where we certainly respect each other's opinions, but like each band at the top of our pedestals is just kind of like, nah, man, I don't really appreciate that. But I bring that up because
no.
Steve played the on his show on this past Thursday. But he also played it for a high school pop jazz concert or variety show, something of the like. Years ago, obviously in high school, which by now is probably 13 years ago, scarily enough. And
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
from my perspective, it was one of those moments where we went to school with dozens of talented people. Ray Walter, powerhouse voice, Chucky Loveliner, a lot of respect for him. I learned a lot from him about how to kind of conduct yourself off the stage. And I don't think he realizes in that sense how much, for a small window of time as it was, I don't think he realizes how much I took from him. And I appreciate that. Strong Gallagher in his own way. Zach Sager is tremendous. I still maintain I've had the pleasure of working with many musicians in my day, and I don't know of anyone in the world who can walk into a jam session and hear where he fits in a sound and kind of make something to improve it. And not necessarily to make it the biggest gesture in the world, but make a significant gesture towards the sound. I think he doesn't realize half how gifted he is. Jay Cathy.
And also with when you brought up Chucky last night, the only story I have with Chucky, I didn't really know Chucky too well, but the only story that I had involving him was, I think, our freshman year, and we were at lunch, and Michael Fitzpatrick thought he was a teacher. No, he's like, and then everyone just kind of.
It's kind of resumed with that day, but that's Michael Fitzpatrick.
Just everybody's so much bigger.
Oh goodness me, man, oh man. But anyway, Steve plays this song, and it was really one of those moments for me where, you'll forget my language, but it was really like one of these, holy shit, like it was this next level kind of, he's kind of destined to do this to an extent. And a lot of that was Steve's talent. Matter of fact, all of that was Steve's talent, but it was also kind of eye-opening for someone to take a song that you typically don't care for and make you like really hone in on it. I thought it was exceptional, and it was really kind of eye-opening for me. And of course, hindsight makes that almost weird to say because of how entrenched we wound up being in each other's lives, going to the same college, living together, all this stuff. But even at the time, I remember just kind of this, oh, okay, like it's a next level kind of deal. And as much as I felt that, maybe with Zach and Jay and then here and there, it's always kind of been playing with them. And I know you can relate that when you hit like a musical pocket, man, like that's magic, you know what I'm saying? But to kind of have that kind of revelation as an audience member, I don't think I've ever realistically had that. So I've always kind of treasured that memory probably more than you'd think. For those reasons.
You remember better than I do.
Well, I'm telling you, man, it was significant, man. It was, like you were always talented. And quite frankly, modesty aside, I was always talented. But that was a real like watershed where you just kind of realize like, oh, like Polly's ceiling is he's going to be president of the college acapella group, which I love. I love that. You know what I'm saying? But Steve's ceiling is just like, hey, man, I'm going to play at this venue and I'm going to sell you tickets and you're going to come and you're going to hear the stuff that I and, my bandmates, my family has been working on. And, you just kind of got the sense of that back in that day. And it was pretty special back then. It was special to hear on Thursday, especially given the tone of the song, Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Sometimes this is a little bit rough because like you're freezing sometimes, and I'm always just like every time it happens, I was like, oh, I hope this comes back in before he starts asking a question.
No doubt. The struggles of making this so homemade.
No, but I appreciate you. That has still just had this effect on you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Talk about me. No. Oh man. So as I mentioned before, this is episode 1, and I say episode 2.
I will when you've reanimated once again.
What's that?
I said I will once you've reanimated once again.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Struggle's real right now. But I'm going to get a little better in terms of interviewing and things like that, and certainly kind of get a feel for what kind of a show this would mean. But I just wanted kind of a way to, chronicle these friendships a little bit, and just kind of get a feel for people that have had an impact on my life. So again, thank you for being here. But with that in mind, when I was first talking to Steve about hopping on the show, basically what I wanted to do was suck the ego out of the show immediately and just kind of jump right into telling stories about instances where I made a fool out of myself or instances where I was wrong. And we had a couple of good memories pop up right off the bat that I believe we wanted to kind of take some time and share. And rest assured, with this first one, if we made a podcast out of times where I was wrong, we'd be here all day. And I wouldn't enjoy it at all, but it would definitely be enough to sustain a show. But that said, this was one of, dare I say, probably the only instance that really comes to mind. I'm sure it wasn't, but this is one of the only instances. Typically, when I'm wrong, it's just like, oh, okay, like it's cool that you feel this way. I feel this way, but hey, I might be wrong. This, that, and the other thing. It's very kind of diplomatic, the way to be wrong. This was one of the times where Steve posed a very legitimate concern about something. Much was a real jerk and said like, "Oh, come on, Steve. Who cares? Like this is asinine." Steve, do you want to set the story a little bit? Oh no, Steve.
What?
Steve, do you want to set this story a little bit? Oh no.
Okay. So this was our first year at college, and it was like a Friday night or a Saturday night, and so we kind of had the time to kind of just wander around and kind of hang out a bit, and then we were going to order a pizza, and I think it was still kind of nice out at the time, and we were still getting like a feel for the town, for the city, and from, I guess, upperclassmen and teachers, we were getting sort of the recommendation to, be careful off campus. We were given some warnings. And we didn't know if we could get delivery from the pizza place yet, which seems like a very pertinent thing as a person who's lived a life since then. That's like, you kind of ask that while you're ordering the pizza.
Right. I want to say in our mind, we were just like, oh, it's close enough. It's right up the road. We'll just run up and get it.
That's true too. Yeah. So, and then we order the pizza, and then we're about to head out to go pick it up. You could take it from here.
Fair enough. Now, I'm admittedly a little uptight because I was led to believe that if you like snooze, you lose on your pizza. It's a busy college town. At the end of the day, like no pizza place is really going to have your back if they can sell the pizza to somebody right in front of them. And so I was pretty strongly of the impression that if we're too late to pick up this pizza, like we're going to be out of luck,
Mm.
So I I hop on out and I'm ready to go, and I don't want to go alone because of the whole be careful thing, And
And it was a small pizza place. They could only make like one pie at a time. So like I remember there like being a wait just because the whole school would depend on this place. One or two ovens or something.
absolutely, man.
I'm like remembering that now that it was just like, does that make sense? Is that a thing? Am I making that up?
I don't know. I mean, it was certainly the one spot for the whole campus, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Run to like Rudders or something like that. They had a place over by the Grumbacher that was a pizza.
They were good.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
I don't think they delivered.
And I don't know if they had it all 4 years we were there.
Mm. No. They were good though. It was like apple crust or something.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, good call. Right on, man. Way to remember that.
Something to do with an apple.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, like Apple Pizzeria or something like that. Good call. But anyway, I hop out and we just look like freshmen. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm there and I have this big fluorescent green York College, says York in massive letters. It has like the little Spartan logo on it, and it says York College, and it's got this sweatshirt.
It definitely lets you know where you've been.
Yeah.
Or it lets other people know where you've been.
Yeah, man. Where to return you.
In case anyone was asking.
Yeah.
You know.
That's where I am right now.
I belong to here. Return to sender.
Exactly, man. If you can read this, you're too close. But I'm wearing this sweatshirt. It's a nice sweatshirt. In hindsight, it's a little garish, but it's a nice sweatshirt. Out walks Steve Murillo, and he's wearing the God's Honest Saiyan sweatshirt. And so, Steve, to his credit, wise and almighty, he says like, oh, one of us should change. We can't be wearing the same thing. And I'm immediately just totally dismissive of that. I'm not having it. I'm like, Steve, grow up. We're adults now. Like, nobody cares. Like, I'm paraphrasing. I don't think I'm that aggressive about it, but I'm definitely just like totally not hearing out his opinion. I'm just like, that's stupid, man. Like, we're just going to get a pizza. It's no big deal.
And to the point where I don't challenge it. I'm just like, yeah, he's probably right. It's not that important. It's probably fun.
So lo and behold, we go and we get this pizza. And we're walking back with the pizza. And in order to get back with the pizza, we have to walk by all this kind of off-campus housing that has all the underclassmen.
All the upperclassmen.
There you go. That's the word.
Yeah. So these are all like, and you know, when you're a freshman and you're like 18, and a senior might as well be like a 46-year-old person.
Exactly, man.
It is Chucky Loveliner. Chucky Loveliner is a teacher at that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
we're a couple of Mike Fitzpatricks walking around.
Just a bunch of pizza Fitzpatricks over here.
Yeah, 2 hands on the box. Yeah. So we're walking back with this pizza, and for a while I think we're going unscathed, and all of a sudden I hear, I kid you not, aw, like that, and it's a condescending awe. Like, let's be right about that. But I'm so taken aback by it, where like, I swear to you, I didn't even readily think like it had to do with us. Like I was just like, you know, like somebody's getting roasted, you know. And then suddenly you hear like somebody else chime in with just like, that's cute, they're matching or something like that. And all of a sudden I'm mortified.
It's the kind of comment that felt like maybe some of our credits that we'd earn over the semester wouldn't count at the end of the year.
Exactly.
It felt that like, oh.
We've done this wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So, one, I feel bad because we're getting lit up. And two, I feel bad because again, like I flagrantly was just like, Steve, this is not something to be concerned about. And then, like literally 2 minutes later, like this is exactly the nightmare that I'm sure not even Steve had in his head. So suddenly, we're just trying to talk to each other, and Steve's like, "Yo, we should try to separate." And so we have it so Steve's trying to jump ahead so that it doesn't look like we're walking together. Eventually, we reach a point because realistically,
and we start walking really fast. We start walking really fast too. Like as soon as she said that, as soon as she went, "Oh," we just start like immediately just.
We're just huffing, man. Straight up huffing down the street. Yeah, super nervous. And so we get back. Eventually, we abandon the whole like staying separate from each other. We just start like running back to campus.
I ate my pizza.
And the only other time I've run to campus is when we wore those togas back to the.
Yeah, slap the bag.
Slap the bag. Oh boy, that's next. Nobody was wrong there, but that was a freaking night, baby boy. So, oh gosh. So eventually we get back to the pizza.
I just remember what my solution was to that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, fair enough. So eventually we get back to the dorm, and I'm sure in Steve's mind, like it wasn't that big of a deal, but I am a puppy with his tail between my legs because I just aggressively said like, "You're wrong," and then man, it just wound up manifesting itself. And I think Steve was chill with it, but I kind of blacked out.
I was like, did I give you? I could see there being a percentage where maybe I gave you like an attitude about it, but do you remember me saying anything?
To be honest, man, it was too significant to not say anything. I know even at 30, 31 years old, which is what I am. Yeah, I am 31, baby boy. But even at 30 years old, I would say something, so I know that something had to be said. And I was definitely eating humble pie that night on my slice, man. Baby boy. So something we didn't discuss yesterday was was heading to. We only did this once. You can tell we were inexperienced with it. Myself, Steve, and our buddy Jake, friend of the program, Jake Alvin. We went to a toga party. Now, I want Steve to tell us about the toga party itself.
Right. So it was thrown by like the music frat, but it wasn't necessarily like sanctioned by the music department, but a lot of upperclassmen who were music majors were in this particular frat. So they called it the music frat. And we got there and it was what was advertised, and
we're rocking our toes. We're looking good.
We all used bed sheets, I think, and then there was this guy going around with like this boxed wine, like bladder, the inner bladder of a boxed wine,
exactly, yeah,
kind of. And it was a bag of wine, and he's going around there, and this guy's plastered. He's gone, and he's one of those guys that like had a nickname. I don't remember what it was. It was like, "Oh, it's Blokey" or something like that.
Classic Blokey, yeah.
Yeah, and he was just going around, trashed out of his mind, just going around to people, just slap the bag, and then that meant you had to slap the bag, and then you had to like chug it.
Yeah.
And needless to say, we all got fairly messed up. And then I think it was maybe like a couple hours later that did the cops come and break up the party? Is that what was happening?
I don't know. I feel like we left, but I remember his exit more than anything else. Because I do remember
Over the course of the whole party. That's right. Over the course of the whole party, his toga would just become like more and more just disheveled and like off of his body.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was a point where he was finally making his way up the stairs, and then the last shred of it just fell off.
Yeah. This guy's just naked. This guy's just in his underwear now, so.
Exactly, man. Yeah, it was something else, dude. It was quite an experience. And you know what it was? I don't know if the cops came to break up that particular party, but I think that we kind of reached the point where we all wanted to leave together.
Right.
What's asinine about that, and I still can't believe that we did it. We're freshmen, living in freshman dorm. And
on a dry campus.
a dry campus. And it's one thing if you want to walk with your togas out. You know what I'm saying? Because then, like, what are you going to do, man? Like, you know, we're in college. You don't know where we're going. This, that, or the other thing. But then we have to walk back to the campus. And none of us brought a change of clothes.
No.
And
No.
it's one of those things where you just, and I'm not even going to come up with an analogy, but we all know the type where you think like all is well and swimmingly, and then suddenly you realize that your plan has been flawed like all along. And just like, it wasn't until we were going to leave where I was just like, wait a minute, I feel something's missing here. And so we're just, and nobody's picking themselves off the pavement, let's be clear, but like we're underage and basically like targeting ourselves for like something to happen. And boy,
and then it was, I think we were maybe a couple blocks away and we were hearing sirens.
Yeah.
Like a cop car was like coming nearby or something like that. And I think I had the idea. I was like, you know what? If we take our togas off, then it doesn't look like we came from a toga party. And then I think you were like, okay, fine, fair enough. Because I think we had shorts on. We had like gym shorts underneath. And then Jake was like, I didn't. He either like didn't have any shorts or like didn't have any underwear on or anything. And he's like, I can't.
He got real serious about it, man. He was about to.
And so I think
everybody
not took our togas off and we are just like shirtless with shorts on. And I think Jake just like pushed down his toga and like turned it into a skirt or something like that.
Yeah, man, that sounds right.
And he's like a buff, and he's a buff burly, you know, fit dude. And so he's like wearing this like toga skirt, and we're all like scurrying.
Scurrying, dude. I don't know if I've ever run more in my life. I was like trying to go as fast as I can without drawing attention to the fact.
Well, so we both had our togas off, and we're both shirtless, and then we're running, and then someone just goes, "Aw."
Yeah, exactly. But at that point, we knew they were talking to Jake. So yeah.
Yeah.
Baby boy. Man, running across the art campus. I was doing that all the time. More than I probably should have.
Well, that was just your nature because of how fast you walked.
Yeah, that's true, man. I was a blur. Except in the creek.
And then you'd be like 18 paces ahead of everybody else.
I'll tell you what, man. This is to this day too, and I say this with a lot of love, man. Unless you're my girlfriend, man, if it's cold outside, like, yeah, dude, I'll meet you there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not chilling, you know? Like, rest assured, you know? If I love you, I'm gonna hang out. But if I don't, man, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll see you in there, dude, you know? Yeah, man. So some habits are tough to change on that front. Yeah, shoot. I also run. Ooh, actually, I'm not going to bring that up. Actually, you brought that up yesterday when I stood up. You never know with the chair. I'm not bringing up the chair. I can't talk about the chair.
If you're not going to bring it up, then don't sit up either.
Stop.
You better stay seated.
No. Oh, One. The creek always slowed me down, though, man. I always had a whale of a time crossing that creek.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we can reflect. Oh, a willow.
Yeah. I remember one time, your college used to have this creek where, when the tide, I guess it's still called the tide, right? The current, I guess, it was low enough, you'd be able to walk along and use the rocks to hop across. And to my credit, usually I did just fine. You know what I'm saying? But like, it used to be the kind of thing where like, if somebody could go like rock to rock, somebody else could do that just like in stride and just be done in 10 seconds. I would be like,
Oh, jump the rocks?
what's that?
Jump the rocks across the creek?
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't. Did you try it once?
No, I tried it several times. I think, to be honest, man,
I remember the one time you totally
yes, exactly. Okay, now let's be clear. One, I didn't fall in. The only person I saw fall in, Ben Balionis, and Ben did it when he was making fun of me because I was always very methodical. I only like got like my pants wet like once where it was just like, oh shoot, I'm in the creek. I'm standing in the creek like a fool.
You never told that story ever again.
Yeah, exactly. But 9 times out of 10, I would do well crossing the creek. But other people, to their credit, I guess, would be able to just like walk them. You know what I'm saying? And I would just be like, okay, this rock. All right, now I'll step.
You're like a cat trying to cross.
Yeah. So, and like more power to them if they could just like carry on a conversation and do it. But I would be the type where it would be like, oh, okay, cool, man. Hang on. Yeah. And I would.
The point of it.
Yeah.
Like there's a bridge right there. What are we proving to ourselves here?
I missed that. I'm sorry, dude. What's that?
No, I was like, I never understood what the point to that was, like, ever. I was like, there's a bridge right here. What are we proving to ourselves here?
No, it would be a shortcut, depending on where you wanted to go.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you wanted to go to the ball field, it was a lot easier to go straight and then cross the creek. Quickest way to get anywhere is a straight line.
Well, it depends what you're going over. I'm out of here. I'm done.
Just lame. But no, what I do remember about the one time I fell in, and again, I didn't fall. The only person who fell was Ben, which I'll bring up all day because he was trying to make fun of me. We can tell Ben's story instead. That would be fun. We'll save that for another episode. But anyway, what I will say was stupid is like I fell in the creek, and by fell I mean just like was left standing with wet legs in the creek.
Yeah.
And for some reason I was like, shoot, I fell in, and I turned back around, and I went back like, and I just hear, and I'm not even saying this because you're on the program. I remember distinctly you shouting out, it's like, no, just go this way. And I'm just like, no, and I'm just like coughing through the creek.
And like every step you were taking was you stepping back into the creek.
So bad. So I'm back on the side of the creek where I started with soaked pants, and then I walk and I go to the bridge, and then I get, it was terrible. That was a misstep. You can make fun of that all day.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, I never will, man. I remember the creek treks very clearly.
Wait, what? You remember what?
The creek treks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Your name is Aida. No, oh boy.
Your name is Tiny. Murr.
What we got? Friend of the program. No. Man, all right. We're off a little bit. Bottom line, I got my legs wet. another story that I wanted to tell. I gotta say, I don't know what it says about depth, or maybe not depth. That might not be the right word, but I don't know what it says about other relationships with family and friends that I've had in my life. I don't know of anyone other than Steve that I've ever been able to say more to and with non-verbally. There's a lot of Steve's in my communication that's specifically specifically eye contact based, and
Yeah.
one of,
And the simultaneous realization of the point.
yeah, exactly, man. And one of my favorite stories of that, or examples of that, was being, oh man, it's amazing how consistent this was. I can't even overstate that. But one of my favorite instances of this was when we were hanging out and playing cards at Brett Harkins' apartment. Stilts, my man. And playing cards, and Steve brought up yesterday that the topic of conversation had to do with Disney movies, which wasn't that kind of strange coming from that apartment. It was I have a healthy appreciation for the Jungle Book, and Brett has a healthy appreciation for anything, which is awesome. It's carried him through. Met his lovely wife that way. Awesome. And we were talking through, drinking some beers, playing some cards, and Brett said, clear as a bell, what he said was, I have a little Disney addiction. And he's like talking about Disney, and he's
That's
like,
that's how it would look on the page.
yeah, exactly. I have a little addiction. All right.
Yeah.
Now, 1,000,000%, and I love Brett with all my heart, but 1,000,000% with the beer coursing through him or a little hiccup or whatever the hell, 1,000,000% the way it came out was, I have a little dick. I have a little dick, you know? And,
Yeah, it's like, I have a little addiction.
yeah, exactly, man. And it was, one, I was already cut up. Like, I was already gone before anything had happened. And then,
Silently, though.
yeah, oh, exactly. And I was shot. I was gone. But what I almost hate, but what I love, is like my reflex was to like lock eyes with Steve and to see if he like picked up on the same thing. And then lo and behold, I find Steve's eyes and he's already grilling me. And the fact that his eyes are already waiting for me to find his.
And no one else in the room noticed it.
Yeah.
To the point where it's just like, how are we all not doing backflips right now? Like,
yeah, man. We're not, it's one of those things, man. It's like, we're not that weird. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Not everything is that obscure, you know? Like,
But it's like a dog whistle thing that only we pick up on for some reason.
baby boy, we needed the guy around in the corner with the earnest smile.
And and you talking about this, it makes me, I think I think what might be the first time we ever had that.
Oh,
and it's when we went and we were still in high school. I think it was senior year. And we went and saw that guy give like a Beatles lecture at the library.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there was a couple of wacky things going on in there. There was this one guy who would just kind of mutter to himself, like whenever the guy giving the lecture would like make a point or like state a fact or something like that, this other guy sitting and watching along with us all, he would just like underscore the point he just made. He's like, so them and their producer, and then, oh yeah, it's always mine. You know, just like to himself, like kind of like a Rain Man kind of thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And like, and and so yeah, and then Apple corporate, and like, I'm Neil Aspinall, and you're like, oh, okay. and no, and I think you and
NEIL.
I, and I think you and I are just like, each time just like kind of like, and I think it's the first time that we've had this like kind of telekinetic, or just kind of mind meld, and just kind of like, and then there was an old man who was like correcting him on stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Needles expert, I do believe that he wrote it in 14 minutes on a bus.
Yeah, no, it's like, excuse me, guy, giving the lecture that we came to see. I'm pretty sure he was on the bus when he wrote that.
Yeah, not the train. Yeah, man, it was really pretty aggressive, man.
But it was the first instance where we noticed just the world being wacky,
You bet.
and us being the only ones who notice.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. And that is definitely a recurring theme of our lives. That's for sure.
But then, and to connect, I guess, like the both worlds of these themes of stories, is there was a time where we both like were not wrong, but humbled.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, take it, man. You got to do it.
All right. Well, yeah. So, in our freshman year of college, wings were buffalo. Like buffalo wings were like a big deal for just all of us hanging out, like all the suite mates and everything. We'd have our wing Wednesdays. We'd all order from this. What's that?
Shout out Laurel Hall.
Yeah, Laurel Hall. And there was only 12 of us on the floor because it was a mini dorm. So it was, we became close because we were all in close quarters, like proximity to each other. And so we'd have our wing Wednesdays. We order delivery from this place called Wing Zone, and they were great, delicious, but they only lasted for the first semester. Then they closed down. They didn't come back in the spring semester. And so we would go get our wing fix. We'd go to Hooters, just for the prospect. It wasn't just like, but like we're hungry. Let's go get wings. Let's go to Hooters. And
also, what Hooters, and I'm going to throw it right back to you, but also speaking for myself, what Hooters represented was not being 21, but it was still a place where you can go and get an atmosphere of like if a basketball game was on, UFC we did a few times, and speaking for myself, watching UFC by myself makes me a little uncomfortable. You just kind of feel like, like I don't. It does, man.
Yeah, hurt him.
Yeah, it is weird. I'm a fan of UFC. I mean, there are many people who am I kidding? They're not going to see this ever, but there are going to be people who hear that and they're like, "Wait, I see you watching it all the time." But I'm like, "Yeah, you do because like I go out and I watch it, and it's definitely something that interests me." But anyway, it was Hooters. It's kind of weird to say in 2020, especially, but Hooters wasn't about kind of the aesthetic of the place. It was more about, hey man, we love wings and we love being out, and they got the sports on. I mean, and where else are we going to go? So that's basically what Hooters represented at that time, for sure.
So we had been going for like, a few months, and then we were going this one time. So we'd been there like maybe like 10 times or however many times, and we were gonna go get something to eat, and then we were with a few other friends, and then we asked this one other friend who we didn't know too well. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Hooters, get some wings. Do you want to come with us?" And I'm trying to remember if we were in the car or if it was before we left, but he's like, I don't know, bikers go there. And then it was the kind of thing that seemed like a pretty like ignorant statement, and I was just like, I don't know what this guy's has this guy ever seen a Hooters before, or like, you know, because Hooters, like, it doesn't have the best reputation in the world, but it's not like a seedy, like, you know, you might get stabbed there in a brawl or something.
And even so, like even the generalization about bikers, it's just like, you know, like there are definitely some biker gangs, don't get me wrong, but there are also just like some lovely people that hop on their motorcycles to go see like the cherry blossoms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It seemed like a very irrational generalization.
And I was kind of blown away, like even if that were true, like I was kind of blown away by kind of his apprehension. But anyway, Steve and I kind
And
of
so he says that. So he says, bikers go there. And immediately, Molly, you and I just like,
yeah.
like, what? And we all get in the car, and then we're heading over, and we're driving over, and we're about to get into like the inlet where you park.
Nice word. Yeah. So we round this corner. We head into the inlet, of course, and crossing the isthmus of pavement. No. So we round the corner, and I kid you not, it literally says like "Welcome, bikers of such and such PA." Some big old banner, and you just see like this row of gosh darn motorcycles where these all are parking next to each other, and boy, oh boy, man, like I've never, you know, I said yesterday, now it's a little forced, but yesterday, like suddenly we were eating crow's wings, you know what I'm saying? Like, it still holds true, man. Nah, man, it was absolutely surreal to just, fortunately, Steve and I didn't broadcast how ludicrous we thought this guy's assessment of Hooters was, because we wound up being terribly, terribly wrong, as all of these gosh darn bikers were welcomed to the area. Unreal.
Not only could they just be there, it was encouraged.
Yeah, exactly. It was like anyone who's not a biker is going to be the minority today. Yeah, it was absurd, man. It was absurd. I'll never forget. And Steve and I are just trying in this closely confined car to you know, stifle some laughter and getting.
We're just like looking at each other, just like we couldn't believe it.
The world's already a lost cause, man. Maybe we're not as smart as we thought.
Should we tell the other Hooters story? Is it ours to tell?
You know what? You know what would be cool? Maybe I'll do one of these. Maybe I'll do one of these.
With him?
Should, but it'd be nice to do one of these with all the Laurel Hall people.
That would be nice, yeah.
It would be cool. Oh boy. I wanted to take it. Yeah, man, let's tell it. There was another story that popped in my mind just now, but nah, let's tell it. So one of the first times we went to again in search of these wings. First of all, Ben was making it clear that the wing size in York, PA paled in comparison to the wing size in Connecticut. So that was definitely set the tone for the evening. But
wait, no, I lost you. Wait, he was making it clear that the wing size was what?
The wing size in York, PA was far smaller than the wing size in Connecticut. Which was great.
Smaller chickens.
What's that?
Smaller chickens.
Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed. Baby boy. So we're there with myself, Steve, basically the whole dorm, I think. It might have been pretty much everybody with Damon, if not everybody, I don't know. Probably not Scott, though, no name. But anyway, we're there, and our dear friend and friend of the program, Nick, Lord Baltimore Pappas, from the mighty city of
Not Baltimore, Lord Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh no, indeed, Nick, Lord Baltimore Pappas. Yeah, you bet.
Can't call him Baltimore.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got upset. Yeah, I called him Baltimore like a little bit, and he got really upset. And then we just threw like Lord Baltimore in front of it, and he loved it. It's amazing.
That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Bear in mind, his other nickname was shit, you know? So I don't know why. But anyway, man.
That wasn't our nickname.
Oh yeah, no. That's not what we called him. No. That's what other people called him. But out of love, shoot, man. All right, that's not my story.
No, we never got it.
Yeah. No. But anyway, we're going around the table and we're submitting our order, and we're picking various order sizes for the wings, and everyone's going like 20 hot.
20 hot.
Yeah, exactly. And because we're all doing it in a row, like it really does kind of take on that kind of like, I don't want to call it a mob mentality, but it does become like that smooth by the end. Like nobody's saying hello, nobody's saying like I'll have. Like it's just going. It's literally like 20 hot.
No fuss.
Yeah, exactly. 15 hot blue cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all freaking John Wayne.
And I think part of that is because we were all like kind of like nervous. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I hope this doesn't go wrong. Like, I hope I don't shit myself while I'm ordering my chicken wings or something in front of the girl. You know, like.
Yeah. Oh Lord, yeah, that might be true, man. Who are we? You know.
Everyone just kind of like puffing, their chests, like, just. As 18-year-olds would.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably very true.
But not speaking to it, it's the elephant in the room.
Right, but we know. Indeed, we do know. And so we get around to Nick Lord, Baltimore Fabulous, master of just kidding, but he wasn't kidding when he says, I'll have 15 miles. And he's just this punctuation of mild at the end of all these orders. And Steve, why don't you take us through the reaction a little bit? Take us through the reaction a little bit. Your eyes just got huge.
I know. I was like, it froze. I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't say what happens. All right, wait. So you said that what she said?
No, I didn't say what you said. I want you to say what you said.
So yeah. All right, all right. I forget exactly, but he ordered. So like,
more of a feeling.
Five guys have just ordered 20 hot wings. And then so it gets to him, and he's like, "I'll have 15 mild." And then the Hooters girl is like, "What are you, some kind of pussy or something like that?" I forget.
He's talking about how it's like past his bedtime, and just like does his parents know
ragging on this poor like sweet friend of ours. He's a good man, but he should have called an audible. And did not, and paid the price for it. And she's just kind of berating him for like, and then we all lose it.
Right. And what I loved about it is nobody in the moment was like stopping the waitress from like dragging him. Like it was bad. It was not good. And further, at least in my memory, it was so not good that like in the moment nobody was like laughing that hard. It was more just like, oh my god, like like this is really, he's just getting worked up. He's getting worked over rather. And then it wasn't until after she left we were just like, holy Christmas, that happened, and boy oh boy.
Yeah, we weren't losing our shit until she left. Yeah. God. And then he played it off well. He was cool. He just kind of whatever.
Yeah, you bet, man. I mean, Nick was a legend at that, man.
Yeah.
This we don't have to get into, but it took some time to really understand that Nick was the man. That's a really cool thing to think about. I speak to Nick probably about once every couple months at this point. it's amazing how, when we.
I wonder. It's like part of me thinks I probably would have just walked outside and just and like left or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, no.
Yeah. I can't go through it anymore. Oh man. Yeah, dude. What's that? What? Oh no, yeah. No, it's about to happen, man. I'm sure we got some hiccups along the way. One of the things Nick took a real shine to was the way I started off the program with a nice little "What is occurring," and that comes from talking about current times, for at least back then.
Miss South Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. That was what Miss T South Carolina was talking about how America couldn't be found on a map, right? Or some place.
It was that beauty pageant contestant, Miss South Carolina,
But
and
the question was about
she gave a answer to a question, and I forget exactly what the question was, but the answer was essentially simultaneously words and nothing.
right. She threw in South Africa for no reason.
And this guy was like a video blogger in South Africa.
Yeah, or at least from there. I don't know if he was still there, but yeah, from there.
And then I think we were looking up that video, and then it just played that one afterwards for some reason.
Yeah, it was something autoplayed, and here's where kind of fate intercedes with kind of things like this. One, the fact that this video played. Two, if you remember, and I know you do, our internet connection when we first started in Laurel Hall was non-existent, and we were trying to connect with like Beard across the way.
Right.
So this video autoplays, and all you hear is this initial spirited welcome from this vlogger, South African vlogger, and it's just
Kayed?
yeah, Kaya was his name.
Kayed.
Yeah, and shoot, man, it's amazing. If you asked me to do this a decade ago, the impression would be right there. But now, it's a little fuzzy. But it's just basically, "Oh, what is occurring, everybody?
What is occurring, everybody?"
Right. And then the whole video stops because our internet is crud, So like all we hear is like this guy really vehemently like greeting you in this way that's foreign to begin with. And Steve, I say again, like Steve and I just kind of turn and look at each other and just like, what the hell was that? And so, yeah, exactly. And it was the kind of thing where if the video kept going, we probably would have just chuckled and just like moved on with our lives. But because it was the only part of the video we could see at the time, we were just like, we were telling other people in the door, I'm like, yo, you gotta check this out real quick. And so we're playing.
I'm just thinking about where this story ends. Yeah.
And so there was a time where.
All right. So that's how he would sign on to all of his broadcasts. And then for all of his videos, he would do a different version of it every time. There was one there, and it would just be like idiosyncratic like differences, just like, what is occurring, everybody, or then there was the one where it's like, what is occurring, everybody.
Yeah, he did the pop. That's right. Dude. Yeah, no. Bottom line, it was splendid. But my point is,
Nick loved him.
Nick latched on to that,
and I think without seeing the videos, I think he would just see us, maybe just doing it. Yeah.
Exactly, man, and that was pretty much Nick in a nutshell, man. And Nick just kind of latched on to this thing to the point where he was saying it all the time. And there was one point where rolling, and Nick was saying it. Nick was saying every time the ball hit the pins, you know.
Just cradling it.
Like every time somebody would go and the ball would hit the pins, and this is all virtual, no less, you know, and he'd just be like, "Whoa, what is it great?" Oh man, and just totally like grinding.
Like a TV that's broken and just stuck on the one moment of it.
Where Jake walks in with tape.
It was in there,
Yeah.
burned into the back of his brain.
Jake walks in while this is going on with tape, and he puts tape on Nick's mouth in the middle of the game. Oh, dude. And I'll be the first to confess that I did not actually see that. I just saw Jake go in and leave. But I'll just never forget Brendan goes sprinting out for as much as he can sprint in that small space. And he just hops into my room and starts like wailing on like the walls of my bed just with laughter. Oh, dude. I will. I will.
Wait, did you tell the story about you?
What about?
You coming in?
Oh no, okay, no, that's number 2.
I thought that was the one I thought you were going to tell.
Oh no, but that was a very good one. There was one time I was seeing a girl freshman year of college, and there was one time where she lived right above us, and I just came home to the floor below.
It's like 3 o'clock in the
It's
morning.
like 3 in the morning. It's not like, I think, to be honest, I'm not gonna put. Well, never mind. Bottom line, I was just leaving there, and I get home and I see Nick, and he's literally marching. He's
Patrolling the hallway.
This one narrow hallway, and he had this broken lacrosse stick, so it's just like this little steel pipe, for lack of a better term, and it's just going, "What is occurring, everybody? What is occurring, everybody? What is occurring, everybody?" And then he turns around and he sees me, and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Because it's 3 in the morning. Like I'd be bugging out too. I'm not gonna begrudge him that. I'd be freaked." And he's just like, "Oh, yeah." And I'm just like, "What's up, man?" And then I just scuttle past him and go into my room and go to sleep. And I'll never forget. Here's the deal. What happened with that? That took over our dorm for a good long time. And I remember coming home from college, and I'm playing music with Zach, and I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, "Zach, you gotta see this." You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling him like this thing, it's hilarious, and I'm trying to tell him about it without like spoiling it. And suddenly I pull up the original video, Miss Teen, South Carolina, what is occurring, from Kaya, and Zach just watches it and he's just like, "I don't get it. Like that's not funny, you know." And Zach's not like a jerk about it, but it was a really kind of it was an experience where I was like, in my head, I was just like, "Am I wrong? Like, has college changed me?" and things like that. Like, you kind of realize what kind of a bubble certain things like that are, because it like dominated for a time. It dominated our social life in college, and then I just showed it to Zach, and he's just like, I don't understand what I'm looking at." It means I'm cackling like an idiot as I watch it. Nah, man, I'll never forget it. Well,
It didn't freeze.
yeah, no, not this time, man. Good stuff. All right, Steve. I'm going to tell you, man, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to call it quits. I feel like this is long enough. Hopefully we can keep doing these. I'll have you on again, hopefully with the rest of the Laurel crew.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on 2 days in a row.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me.
I didn't get much of that.
Now you're frozen.
But I'm so glad. I'm so glad you joined me. Thank you for the first episode of the Corn Chronicles. The search continues. And
That's right.
we'll go
Love
ahead
you,
and
pal.
see you soon. Love you, brother.
I'll see ya.